Every time I go on the r/ask subreddit, I always see some questions that are quite tough. So I thought, let me make a video, the second of its kind, on some of these questions. The first question is from Frosty Step 3405. What job would you never do no matter how much you're paid? The first of them would be a policeman, because I think what the police do, and honestly credit to them, is so hard and so difficult. The training that you need to become a policeman or policewoman is quite hard. Then all the heartbreaking cases that you have to deal with. Then all the work behind the scenes to track down criminals and gangs, etc. It's an amazing job, and honestly it's God's work, but I really would struggle with keeping up with being a policeman. The second job that would be hard, and it's linked as well for me, no matter how much you paid, I probably would never do, is being a detective. You know, the stress on your back and all the media reports, etc., and all the scrutiny. I feel like it'd be really, really difficult to do my job under so much scrutiny and under so much stress. But again, similar to a policeman or policewoman, you're doing society such a big, service. Another one, and maybe this one is a bit of a hot take, but I would never want to become a banker. Just thinking about issuing loans to people that are struggling and, knowing in my heart that they're going to go and they're going to struggle for the rest of their life to pay off this loan, many of which they don't pay, and it goes to a family member, or it just puts them into debt and so much difficulty. I just can't get myself to get into that career. Similarly, a politician. There's nothing wrong with politicians if they do it the right way, and I'm sure we've heard of, in the news cycle, certain politicians that are really doing it, and they're doing it really well. But becoming a politician, there's so much pressure, there's so much scrutiny. Maybe it's just me being a coward, but I could never stand straight with that much scrutiny and that much pressure. To all those that represent their communities on the national level or the local level, honestly, and they do their work properly, I honestly really respect them doing that job. To all those councillors and those politicians on the local level or national level listening, or maybe future councillors and politicians, I really hope and wish that you guys do the best. The final job I'd really struggle with is any job to do with the prison system. The prison system in many countries is not fit for purpose, and the work that people do day and night is most likely dangerous and extremely difficult. And despite that, they do it to the best of their ability. I've got a lot of respect for them, and I really do hope things get easy for those people that are struggling under this prison system to do their work on a daily basis. Next question is from user RJMC Alpha 251. What screams "I'm rich" without saying a word? I think the first thing is clothing and the things that people wear. That can say a lot about a person and their riches. Sometimes there are rich people that aren't arrogant and don't look down on others, but sometimes the talk and demeanour of rich people can really show that they're rich and sometimes, frankly, spoiled. The third thing is, sometimes, adding to the second point, a lot of people do look down on people that are not doing so well or in poor backgrounds, etc. That does tell that you're essentially rich or from a rich background. On that point, I really dislike when people blame people that are struggling to be benefit scroungers and, using people and not doing the work that they need to do to get out of poverty. That's not the way it works. And that's one of those things that you can really tell that someone either doesn't understand how poverty works or they've never been in poverty themselves. Next question is from user Preparation Low 2273. What's one piece of advice you wish you had ignored? I think one of these advices, again a hot take, please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think going uni without having a clear plan was one of the worst things that I've been advised. Uni or college in other countries is the tertiary education that students go through, and from that they get their specialisation to do a certain job and become specialised eventually in that job role. A lot of people, however, because of the job market and just burnout sometimes as well, don't end up doing the job that they set out to do, and as a result they've got so much debt on them that they need to pay back for years and years. So instead of going straight into uni, I would advise, and perhaps this again is a hot take, is to take a year out and really think about what you want to do, and don't just go in there blindly, because a lot of the times you might need to rethink that choice, and as a result you've incurred so much debt due to doing a year and then changing course. Also, in a lot of countries there are other ways to get employed. There's apprenticeships, there's training courses which you can do to become specialised eventually in that job role. The next question is from thisbird22. If you could ask your 90-year-old self one question, what would it be? It was a bit hard to pick one, so I've got about four. The The first one would be, what life choices do I regret? A 90-year-old life is a very long life, and I'm sure there's so many regrets along the way. I'd really want to just go through each one and just immerse myself. What did I do? Why did I get it wrong? What do I regret from that experience, or what have I learned? On the flip side, life choices that I was glad that I made, and it made a real difference in my life. I'd also want to go through my life throughout those moments and see what good choices I made and how they changed the way I became. Another thing I'd like to do is to write down or relay my advices to the world through media, through maybe even a book one day, and essentially tell people how to not repeat my mistakes. Not that I'm special in any way, but I don't want people to repeat those mistakes, and if someone can learn from those mistakes, then I'd be really, really happy to know that before I eventually pass away. The next question is from user Lovey Boss F. What's a question everyone should ask themselves? Again, in this question I've put a few questions because I couldn't put it to one. Number one is, why am I doom scrolling like crazy? I'm sure we all go through that. What will happen after we die? A bit of a difficult question. Another one, is God real? What is the purpose of life? Am I really happy? And how can I become happy? These sort of difficult questions that we all have to come to grips with. I feel like we should all ask ourselves these questions. The next question is from user FrontRight3057. What's something you stopped buying that instantly improved your finances but people judge you for? First one is not buying a car immediately. When I passed my driving, everyone told me and expected me to buy a car, but I chose not to and to try save up instead. Where I live, there's a lot of good transport networks which don't require you to have a car. So that's something I stand by, and I've saved a lot of money because I've seen peers similar to my age, they've spent a lot of money on cars and servicing and any sort of accidents that happen. So that's really drained their finances. The second thing that I've not really invested in is the big brand clothing, despite being able to. I feel like it's better that you buy clothing that lasts longer than buy high branded things which don't really have that longevity. And it's not really sustainable to keep buying these new fashion clothing items. So honestly, doing these two things, despite not going with the trend, it's really helped me out, and I really advise those listening to do similar, unless you need to, for example, buy a car. I feel like when we're young teenagers, big brands mean the most and they mean everything. But as you get older, it's really those things that last long and they're good quality and essentially comfortable more than anything. Next question is from user Definition Careful 168. What's the smallest decision that ended up changing your life? I feel like this one, again, hot take, not engaging in alcohol substance abuse saved me so much money. And I really advise those who are looking to save not to just go with the trend and the fear of missing out and just buy alcohol for the sake of fitting in. Just save that money and better times will come. Next question is from user Moldy Lunchy Cheese. What's something you could eat forever? Again, something maybe people disagree with, but I feel like a lot of people would agree with, is mum's food. Fast food can get boring, whether it's pizza, whether it's fried chicken, etc. It all gets boring. But with mum's food, no matter how many days and months and years you eat it, you never really get bored of it. And another thing, and a shout out to all the mums out there, it takes so much effort to cook every day or every so often that our mums do cook. We've got to thank them for that and really show our appreciation, because it's not easy. Next question is from Tonky Soccer Boy. What's the thing that was normal in your house but not anywhere else? One thing my parents really put in our growing up was to do our own chores and to clean our own dishes. Maybe this is something common in other families as well. This taught us the importance of chores and responsibility and helping out where needed. And I feel like this will also bring good skills and good action when we get older eventually and move in with our spouses, etc. And I feel like in a lot of households, it's said to be a girl's thing to do, to help with cooking, to help with chores. But my parents, and I'm really thankful for them, showed us that's not the way. You should learn everything, cooking, cleaning, everything, so that you're self-sufficient. You're not looking at someone else to help you out. I feel like that was something I'm really, really thankful for my parents. The last question is from user Vinny Neo. I hope I said that correctly. What's the deal breaker that people think is shallow, but is actually valid? I've got 3 answers to this. Number 1 is ruling out a partner with expensive taste. As someone that has grown up from a working class background, I feel like if I had to keep up with that, it'd be very difficult. Also, it might be that I prefer to buy budget items, whereas she wants to buy more expensive items, etc. And this might cause a clash. Not that there's anything of an issue with buying budget items or expensive items. It's just preference. Look, another deal breaker would be a harsh tongue on both sides. Someone that's a bit more harsher in nature, especially when it's your other half. I feel like that'd be quite difficult to deal with, especially when I see myself as a bit of a softer person in nature. And the last one is not having that basic attraction, again, on both sides. If not, I feel like people's eyes will gaze elsewhere. So just making sure that you have that basic attraction of the person, I feel that's very important.